You know, I've read so much like Mission Impossible fanfiction to the point that I actually kind of believe that the things written in the fanfiction are like canon in the story. Like, that's how delulu I am. But you know what they say, delulu is just a lulu, right? Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to draw Ilsa Faust from Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Finally, oh my god, like, okay, first of all, I have to say, spoilers alert, beware, because I'm about to rage in this video. And the reason for this utter rage is a really major spoiler. And I'm gonna talk a bit fast in this video because the sun is about to disappear since I'm kind of late, because I use like 20 minutes trying to find my octopus. For context, my octopus is the thing that I use to like put, it's like the tripod that like can bend that I put my camera on, and since I can't find it, this is what I have to resort to. As usual, as per usual. Yeah, this is the situation right here, but I wanted to braid my hair for this video like Ilsa did in this film because she's totally gorgeous in that hairstyle, but the thing is, I'm home alone at the moment and I have no idea how to do that on myself, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. So I'm gonna start, oh, oof. And also, by the way, I've actually made a video of drawing Ilsa Faust before, back in like the start of 2022. I'm gonna draw like this picture of Ilsa for my character art because I really love her expression in this picture. Like, it's, if you know, you know, right? It's like an expression worth a thousand words, I feel like. I don't know how to explain it, but she's like, she knows something deep down. So as I start drawing the pencil sketch, let me talk about like the story between me and Mission Impossible. I watched it initially because I was obsessed with Rebecca at the time, as I still kind of am. After I watched it, I fell in love with this series like instantly. It just had everything that an actions franchise could offer. Like, it had like the best like action set pieces ever. It has like the most hilarious humor, and it also has like more serious stuff, of course, dealing with like humanity, like human nature, and like a lot of like more serious like themes. Ethan Hunt is such an iconic character, and his personality and beliefs is just so interesting to watch. I'm also really lucky because I have a friend that is also really obsessed with Mission Impossible and Rebecca and stuff along with me. In school, we would like draw all these fun little illustrations of like the IMF and Ilsa on the whiteboards in our classrooms. So that's just a little like interesting anecdote, and that is also why I watched the 7th film with her, with that friend who drew with me. So we watched that on the last day of school, and it felt so unreal sitting in the cinema because after 5 years, the IMF is finally back in action. I also like made an Instagram post of like the diary entry I drew of that day, and also like little like short review I wrote on my Instagram, so if you want to check that out, feel free to do that. So some of the things that I'm going to mention in this video also came from that review that I wrote. So we're now going to get into that particular thing that I'm currently raging about yet. Let's first talk about some more optimistic stuff. Let's talk about the things I liked in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I liked a lot of things. I honestly, I had a good experience watching. I mean, I will admit, it's a fun experience in general. Like, Mission Impossible never fails to let us laugh and cry sometimes. Basically, this film is like 2 hours and 47 minutes long, but with all the packed action scenes and the constant really high stakes that our characters had to face, it really felt as though only like a 1 hour maximum had to pass. Like, when the film ended, I was genuinely like, you know what, if the sunlight goes away, let's just let it go. Actually, should I open the lights? Yes, another thing I liked was the desert scene with Lady Jessica. I mean Ilsa. It was epic, that desert scene, because it also consists of like that scene where she shoots the bounty hunters with like the iPad, made her look like a pirate actually. Like, and it also shows how much like Ethan and Ilsa trust each other. Okay, I have to disclaim right now that I am a Ilsa shipper. Like I kind of ship Elsa, and that is the ship name that I created for them. Ethan plus Ilsa is Elsa. Yeah, I know that like Christopher McQuarrie and also Rebecca Ferguson mentioned in a lot of like interviews that their relationship is not just like, it's not like romantic, it's much more than that. And I do agree, like it is much more than that. But I also do kind of ship them sometimes. They know each other so well. And they also trust each other so much. Especially like in the desert scene, like when like when Ethan saw like Ilsa pretending to be dead. After that they like saw each other face to face. Like that scene was so cute. But other than that scene, which looked terrifyingly like dude, I also really like the car chase in Rome with Ethan and Grace.
We'll talk about Grace later.
It's also like the handcuff trope, you know. Other than that, of course, I am going to talk about the motorcycle stunt that was mentioned so many times before the film was released. There's so many like behind the scenes footage of Tom Cruise doing the stunt. There are so many promotional like videos of him doing it. It's really epic. It looks really beautiful. And of course, Benji and Luther are just iconic. They're still iconic. They will always be iconic. This is actually kind of fitting because as it's getting darker outside, let's talk about some dark stuff. So I've always loved the Mission Impossible series for its locations. Each film is always set in multiple locations that really assist its like action sequences, and it's like a character of its own, really. Of course, Dead Reckoning has a lot of interesting locations as well, especially Venice. Oh my. Okay, first of all, the rooftop scene in Venice was so sweet. The scene is like really so beautiful, but yes, really sad because like it's how they're spending their first time in this beautiful city together, facing the sunset, yet knowing that they have to embark on their most dangerous mission yet in a few hours. And after that, in Venice, the party scene, we have an introduction to Gabriel, which I kind of want to punch in the face. Just kidding, we do not condone violence here. And then, after that, we have the Ponte del Concefiles. And then we have the bridge. And then we have the fight between Ilsa and Gabriel. The rest of this video is going to be on the fight between them. I'm just going to say it. In the film, Ilsa gets killed by Gabriel. However, we all know that that is not the truth, that Ilsa is alive somehow. Of course, I am unsatisfied and disappointed in this decision of killing Ilsa. Before talking about like that scene and my opinion on it, I'm just gonna disclaim that I fully respect the director, the screenwriters, you know, Christopher McQuarrie, Tom Cruise, like their choice with the characters, with the plot. I mean, they're both amazing storytellers. They're talented and they've got potential, and they've made like my favorite Mission Impossible film, which is Fallout, before. So yeah, I'm not hating on anyone. I'm just gonna express my opinions. So my camera's gonna die. In case you need a refresher to your memory, Gabriel in the party predicts that either Grace or Ilsa was gonna die that night for him to get the completed key, because he wants to control the entity. Like, he wants to do bad things with the entity. He wants to see one of them dead, and he wants that to be Ilsa. And Grace went to like fight him on the bridge after the party, and Grace, of course, Grace isn't a trained fighter or a trained agent, anything. She's just a thief. And so Ilsa, out of the goodness of her heart, I don't really know how that worked, but Ilsa went to help Grace. She wanted to save her. She did save her, and she gets into a fight with Gabriel. She took a sword with her, and after this fight, in which Ilsa fails on her iconic killer thigh move, Gabriel stabs her in the chest. I'm gonna say chest instead of heart because I can't be. It just can't be, okay? So Gabriel wins the fight, and Ethan finds her sort of like lifeless form on the bridge, and he's like, you know, devastated and stuff, and then they sort of just move on. The IMF and Grace, they're sort of like working together now. By the way, I learned this word delulu after like furiously going on Twitter and stuff and seeing other fans' opinions on the scene. So I might seem delulu, but I'll address this in advance that all of the points that I will be proposing will be completely based on logic. Nope. So some of these things that I'm going to talk about are my personal opinions, and others are like genius points made by other genius fans that I've seen across the internet, and I'll like reference them, of course. First, let's see what we can like infer directly from the whole like Venice sequence, just all like explicit stuff. Of course, we have Ilsa's little smirk at the party when Gabriel said something like smoke rising from mountains, like when he said about like the prophecy of like one of them having to die. Ilsa's like, she definitely knows more. And also in the desert scene prior to that, Ethan says to Ilsa like, you're dead, you stay dead, to like get her out of the game, to keep her safe. And maybe she's staying dead secretly. This one I got from the friend who watched it with me. I also saw some other fans on Twitter come up with this observation that Gabriel in the party declared that he'll get the key provided that someone died that evening of the party. So he says that he'll get the completed key if someone died that night. But however, he did not get the completed keys successfully the following day on the train. Ethan got the other half of the key. So if he did not get the completed key, that must mean that nobody died, right? And other than that, in the fight scene, there is just no way that Ilsa freaking Faust is going to lose a fight with a sword against a knife. Of course, there is a possibility that she can lose the fight, but she lost that fight in a matter of like seconds. Twitter fans, like they noted that like of course in Rogue Nation we see like the knife fight between her and the Bone Doctor, and she won that guy who is also a skilled fighter. She won him gloriously. And also after like the bridge, like there's a significant lack of reaction in the IMF. Like we see like a few seconds of Ethan and Benji and Luther being sad, and that's it. They've become like a family at this point, and there's no way that they're just gonna, I mean, yeah, there is a high stake mission in front of them that they really do have to deal with efficiently, but like with Ilsa, so the only explanation is that she's fine and that they know that, so they're not reacting to it that much. They're just acting for grace, maybe. So from these observations, I have some theories of the fate of Ilsa Faust. These are also like the thoughts of a lot of other fans I've seen and also my friends and stuff. We think that Ilsa is secretly working with Luther offline, off the internet, no connection whatsoever. They're hiding somewhere to trick and defeat the entity. Because Luther also left in the middle of the film, like shortly after Ilsa's death. He's like, I have to go off grid, I have to go somewhere with no internet so that the entity cannot track me. It made the entity think that Ilsa died and made Gabriel think that too, so that they will not expect anything from them, so that they can defeat the entity more easily. I don't know. Ethan may or may not know about this, but Grace is definitely kept in the dark, like, because they don't really trust her yet. They shouldn't really trust her yet. Like, yeah, in conclusion, I read too much fanfics. Like, the amount of Mission Impossible fanfiction, especially like fix-it-fics, that I've read in the past few months, especially during summer vacation, is just insane. You know, I've read so much like Mission Impossible fanfiction to the point that I actually kind of believe that the things written in the fanfiction are like canon in the story. Like, that's how delulu I am. But you know what they say, delulu is just delulu, right? So with this whole issue of the fate of Ilsa and fans raging and stuff, the director Christopher McQuarrie, he also talked about this choice in like some interviews. So the following things I'm gonna say are all just my personal opinions based on like their responses to the Ilsa issue. So in one of the interviews, I forgot which, but Christopher McQuarrie said that, and I quote, okay, "And yet where we had gone with the character from Rogue to Fallout, the place you took that character would either make less of her or she would just become a romantic interest. And it was never about creating a character who was defined by her love story with Ethan Hunt. It felt like that story was looking for its resolution, and so we said this has got to happen." So basically what we can conclude from this statement is that he doesn't want Ilsa to be merely a love interest to Ethan, and he feels like that is where the story is going at that point, if I understood it correctly. So he doesn't want Ilsa to be just a romantic interest of Ethan, but from the previous two films we know that she's not just a romantic interest. Anyone who's seen the past like two films, Rogue Nation and Fallout, we've seen what this character is capable of. We know that even if she ends up being together with Ethan, she is not defined. She will never be like defined by that. I think it's fair, and I think that it's annoys that like he doesn't want her to be that way, and I do understand where he's coming from, but I do think that death is not the only alternative as he described in here. But Christopher McQuarrie, like, he built up like Elsa's relationship from Rogue Nation to this film with like scenes significantly suggesting Elsa's like special relationship, and he decided that the only way to like command Z that action is to kill her off. Christopher McQuarrie, he also said on the USA Today, he said in that interview that Ilsa's death was like a really tough decision, but one that we knew we had to make for the movie to have stakes and for the movie to remain mission. Mission is primarily Ethan's journey, and there is a continuum that the people closest to him, he tends to lose them. What you're seeing is in the escalation of the story is what it costs Ethan personally in Venice. I learned a really specific term for it after seeing the movie on Twitter. I learned a really specific term that basically describes what he had described in this interview. And it's called fridging. I think it's like the action of like killing or like severely harming a character just for the main character to feel motivated. So he wants to make sure that the stakes are high enough, which is fair. Like, yeah, the stakes do have to be high enough. And he said that it's primarily Ethan's journey, and yeah, I actually do agree with that. It is. Mission Impossible is ultimately like Ethan's journey. He is the protagonist after all. To be truly like at stakes, like they have to. Sorry, I'm currently not like working on the art right now because I really have to like communicate this through clearly. But like Ilsa is not the only like important character in Ethan's life. Yes, Ilsa is important to Ethan, and yes, she's like the only like woman in IMF, and therefore she is the one that's most likely to become Ethan's romantic interest, which the filmmakers don't want. However, I still don't think that killing Ilsa for this is the only alternative, the only solution to this writing problem that the filmmakers faced. And also like the reason why they decided to kill Ilsa might not really just only be the concerns over the plot and stuff. It might also be external issues behind the scenes regarding to like actors and directors, like personal issues. So like if there is a scheduling issue or any other outsider factor, if this issue requires that character to be like written out of the story,
death is still not the only way to write a character out of the story.
I mean, look at Fantastic Beasts 3. I think Catherine Waterston, who played Tina, who I was really excited to see, she only had two scenes in the story, despite her being like the previous like main female character. Like she was written out of the story for the third film because like I think the actress had like some scheduling issues, or like there are definitely some like external factors that the filmmakers had to deal with. They didn't kill Tina. Like they just said
Tina is busy.
Not that I love that decision either. Like I would rather see Tina, but like from that you can see that death is not the only alternative. Fan favorite characters die all the time. It's normal at this point. The issue is not the fact that she died, it's how and why she died, and it's whether it's really necessary. Okay, so now let's finally talk about Grace. I have nothing personal against Grace. I think she is in fact an intriguing addition to the story. I have nothing against Grace if she is just there supporting the team and not in place of Ilsa. So yeah, basically I still think that Ilsa is alive, because there is no way. There is no way. So now let's steer away from this serious topic and talk about some random stuff about me for the movie. Sometimes I would listen to the theme Chasing Grace when I run, so that I can feel like Ethan Hunt running to save Ilsa, so that I can like have more energy to run. I wrote my first fanfic. I didn't post it anywhere. I don't really intend to post it, but I kind of had to thank this movie for that. Like I wrote my first fanfiction. My favorite quote in this film is probably, "We live and die in the shadows, for those we hold close and for those we never meet." I feel like that this phrase really summarizes the burden and the responsibility and the nature of being an agent like Ethan and Ilsa and Benji and Luther. Okay, so I've rambled for too long now. You're probably like tired of me already, and I'm tired of myself talking. So all in all, let's all hope that whatever happened on that bridge was part of a larger plan to defeat the entity or something. If it wasn't, then there is no place I won't go to infiltrate the Mission Impossible 8 production set. And that is written. You please come back. Okay guys, that's all I have to say. It's getting dark and it's getting late, so I'm gonna continue my drawing tomorrow, and I'm gonna show it in this video as if I finish it tonight. But like, yeah, I'm just gonna be honest, I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. But thank you so much for watching this video. I know I'm really slow on my editing and filming, so I'm really thankful that you still click into this video, and if you're still watching, then thank you for staying all the way to the end. If you have like similar opinions or like other strong opinions or like other theories or other just anything that you want to say about like Ilsa and Mission Impossible in general, please feel free to comment down below. I'm really interested in what everyone thinks about this film, because it's, you know, it's debatable. And yeah, maybe consider liking or subscribing if you like this video, and I'll see you next time, hopefully soon. Bye.